I've got this Epiphone Hummingbird Pro on the bench tonight. I'm doing a quick little setup on, and I've been kind of experimenting with how I do my acoustic setups lately. First thing, check the body over, make sure the bridge is still glued on, there's no big cracks, or make sure the neck angle's good and good enough to get a good setup on. Check over the saddle, all the frets, all that. And this one checks out. We got one little high fret down here. That's no big deal. We'll take care of that. The next thing is I get it in tune, the tuning I want, and then assuming we're going to use the same tuning and the same string size, I'll get the neck exactly where I want it, and then I'll get the nut where I want it, and then I'll do the saddle and using the original strings. That way I don't have to take the strings on and off with a new set, because usually I don't want to charge customers for 2 sets of strings. I only want to charge them for 1. So I'm going to set it up first, and then I'm going to pull off the strings, polish the frets, clean everything up, condition it, go through the electronics, deal with all that, and then put the new strings on, wipe it down, it's done. That's my new process, and it's working out really well for me so far. So we're good here. So I'm going to check the, we already got the truss rod where we want. The nuts actually cut really well on this. The EA and D I am going to knock a little bit off. This is an area that's this is the hardest part of the setup for someone who hasn't done it. Like, by far, the nut carving is, it just takes it takes practice, man, and you're gonna screw it up a bunch of times the first couple times you do it. So it's like I tell some of my customers that are like real DIY type guys that really want to get into this, like, do everything but the nut and the fretwork until you get a guitar you can practice on. Because you're gonna blow nuts, dude. Like, ooh, this one's carving fast. This plastic nut material is kind of soft. So we got the nut all dialed in, and then I got it tuned back up, and I'm just gonna check my neck relief one more time to make sure we're still dialed in. And then I'm just gonna measure at the 12th fret, and we are at 9 thousandths on the bass side, which is actually really good. We're gonna go a little bit lower though. And the treble side, we have 7, which is freaking right where I want to be. I want to take the bass side down a little bit. So let me show you something really cool. So this is a 7 over here. So on an acoustic, what I do is I write down, and I use thousandths of an inch. Some people use millimeters and 64ths or whatever. My target is 8 to 7. So I had 9 to 7. I want 8 to 7. So we'll subtract them 1, 0. And then this number times 2 is how much we need to take off the bridge. Super easy. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. We can make this a more complicated video another time to explain that if we need to, but just the difference between what you got and what you want multiplied times 2 is your target, and then we just mark that out. And here, let me show you. So this bone is actually, this saddle is actually bone. It's very dead and not a very nice bone saddle, but it is a bone saddle on an Epiphone. That's kind of cool. So here's the, we got our measurements. We're only taking 2 thousandths off, and I already marked this one. Basically what you do is, you want to take away, let's say it's, we'll make it easier on ourselves. It's 6 thousandths. Okay, so we'll hold it up straight, mark it. We want to take 8 off the other side. Okay, great, mark it. And then you go in, hold the straight edge, mark a nice line, and then you can hold it up and make sure that your line was correct. If you're a little bit, if you need to be a little bit over or under the line, you can just take a mental note and sand it off, and then stick it back on the guitar and check and make sure it was right, and then you're good. All right, got this thing tuned up close enough. Yes. I like just noodle with it for a second and feel it before I actually look at the numbers, because sometimes you can like psych yourself out. Yeah, we got down to 6.5. 6.5 to 8. And we need just the slightest, tiniest little bit of relief. So I freaking nailed it, dude. This is awesome. All right, now I'm gonna rip the strings off, polish everything up, put it back together, play it one more time, let the neck settle, and done. That's it. It's pretty easy, especially once you get the nut thing down. Like, it's when you can do the nut automatically, the rest of it, acoustic setups are so easy, and it's so gratifying because it's like such little effort now that I've done it 100,000 times. I love it. Let's do it. All right, I got this bad boy all waxed up. It's looking good, dude. I love being able, oh, I forgot about this side. I love being able to make something look better than new with, like, all I really got to do is polish it and clean it up. Like, this Music Nomad stuff is so good, dude. There's no way for it to, like, I don't have time to figure out how to make it, like, show up on camera or whatever, but you're going to have to trust me. It looks good. This is a really nice guitar, man. I think I already said it in the beginning, but Epiphone's been killing it lately. All right. Let's put the saddle back in. Get some fresh strings on this bad boy and tune her up and see how she sounds. Cool. Everything is pretty much done on this guitar. I'm just giving it the final wipe down. The neck stayed exactly where it was at. I'm gonna come out and check it again in about an hour, and then once more before the customer picks it up. But that's pretty much my process. It's pretty simple. It's a good guitar. I really like this thing. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.